special. And I can't start like that. I have to start with a warm welcome. I have to start with a Merry Christmas, listeners. If you are listening on YouTube, if you're listening on Twitch, if you're listening on any bloody thing in the world, it's a warm Merry Christmas or a Happy Holidays to you from Frankie Boy and the team here at the Lads Let Loose podcast. I'm going to start a little bit differently tonight. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in my world right now. I've had a rough week, but I've had a very good week in one aspect, and my mate Healsy, who lives on the other side of this beautiful continent, been watching the cricket. Healsy, have you been watching it as well?
I've been watching the cricket, mate. It has been very exciting, and I love the twists and turns. All these commentators and experts predicting what will happen, so-called experts, and the rug being pulled on many occasions. Have you been enjoying it?
Oh, I just absolutely been loving it. Now, people that were listening last episode, the five of you that actually listened to it, didn't do too well with the old Game Awards review, would know that I was heading up to Brisbane and it rained on me the whole time, Healsy. But I got home the next day and I got to watch, I think it was Sunday's session once I finally got home and Travis Head and the boys carved up. The guys are going very, very well, and they've led us into a Boxing Day test match with a lot of question marks. How are we going to go? Give me your opinion, and then we might talk a little bit about the opening batting situation, but just a general perspective. What's going to happen come Boxing Day, 26th of December?
I think there seems to be a bit of drama behind the scenes around the Indian team and the way that they're approaching their media commitments and stuff like that. That's what I've noticed, which has been really, really interesting over the last couple of days.
So who was the fellow that retired? Who just retired? What was his name again? The spinner.
Oh, Ashwin.
Yeah.
Absolute legend of the game, but gone just like that. And there's obviously perhaps there's a little bit of drama behind that. But what I've noticed though is some of the Indian players just not fronting up or wanting to talk to Australian press, or there's been a bit of animosity between the Indian players and Australian press, and that just adds to the drama-filled build-up to the Boxing Day test, which is just going to be absolutely huge. I hear it's going to be very fucking hot. Is that true over in Melbourne?
Yeah, let's throw that to Haxy. But before we do, in terms of the boys that have been quiet, Siraj has gone dead set silent since him and Travis Head got a fine for that blow-up recently as well. But Haxy, how's things going in terms of weather at the moment down in Melbourne?
It'd be Perth weather down here. It is literally going to be 40 degrees on Boxing Day. It is going to be a stinker.
I can't wait for it. I hope we bat first. We've got some issues with the boys. We'll throw it away from the Indians. I reckon they're dead set scared of us at the moment, especially with Travis Head, but we can talk about him later. But Healsy, before we start the actual podcast, there's the man there, Travis Head, but we've lost Nathan McSweeney. He's been dropped from the opener's spot to be replaced by Sam Constas. What's your thoughts on that?
I think from a Australian selector point of view, I think they're just trying to throw a different angle, because it seems as though most times when we've opened the batting, we haven't had any ascendancy, and all of a sudden the middle order is susceptible to the new ball. So I think they're trying to avoid that and try a different strategy, which is exciting, because I think he's going to bring a little bit more excitement, a little bit more destruction at the top end, which could work and might not. They gave McSweeney a couple of tests, but to be fair, that Indian bowling lineup at the top there, that's a fucking tall order. So it wasn't a very easy ask for old McSweeney to come in first couple of tests and try and dominate there. And there's not been anyone that's really been super successful except for Heady and Smithy just recently. So a little bit unfair, I think, but it's just one of those things. There's been plenty of top order batsmen that have succumbed to the fact that they can't get the runs on the board early and protect that middle order. So what do you think? Costa's coming in, what do you think he's going to bring?
I think the biggest thing that the selectors definitely have not overlooked, but the general public have probably overlooked, but even though McSweeney hasn't put runs on the board, he has done the same job that Usman has as well. They've put the fucking bat in front of the ball, and even though they haven't been scoring runs, they both saw through at least 50 to 60 balls while they stood there, even though they didn't get the runs on the board. They took the power off the ball a little bit, which probably made it a little bit easier for Heady and Mudge to come in and do that. Does that make sense? So as much as McSweeney getting dropped might be a little bit fair, I do feel for him a little bit because he's not an opener. He didn't come into the squad as an opener. So it kind of sucks that he's getting dropped, and I feel for him in terms of his mental capacity. But I'm sure he'll come back strong. And if Marnus Labuschagne, as much as I fucking love the bloke, keeps fucking up, McSweeney might find himself a spot there at number 3 in the future down the track. But gutted for him. But I'm pretty excited to see what Sam Constas can do. He's had a fucking wicked match with our second 11 or the Prime Minister's 11 or whatever they call it these days. Plus, he had a cracker in the T20, the whatever they call it, the fucking Big Bash series. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Plus, I mean, imagine debuting. We were having a chat through the week. Imagine debuting on Boxing Day, sitting next to Scotty Boland in the sheds
Incredible.
at the MCG. It would be fucking absolutely brilliant. But again, it just comes back to McSweeney, and I'm gutted that he doesn't get to have that experience too. But I'm sure he's still invited to the shed and bringing the family and having a little bit of a Boxing Day brunch. And he probably doesn't have the pressure of playing too, so that might be fucking nice for the poor fella after everything he's been through. But what a start to the series, everything that happened over in Perth with India dominating and the South Australian, the day-night test, and then the fucking absolute abysmal disgrace that happened in Brisbane with the weather. It's set up perfectly. You couldn't write a better script. So how do you think it's going to end up, Healsy, before we move on? What do you reckon? Australia going to take the front foot in the series, or is it going to be India that peg themselves back into it?
From a purely selfish perspective, I'm hoping that they win a couple in a row and secure themselves in the World Test Championship, because it looks as though they're probably going to be playing South Africa at this rate. So if they can get a couple of wins, that would be really nice. But it's just, to me, it's like it's that first over, whether it's Mitch Starc opening the bowling or whether it's going to be Costas and Khawaja opening the batting. It's going to be a fucking memorable start to your Boxing Day, regardless of whether you are, you're fresh faced or whether you're a little bit dusty, like a couple of our panel members tonight.
Great segue as we go through. Before we do, Haxy, I know you're a massive fan of the cricket as well. Hopefully we bat first, but if we don't, or even if we do, what's your gut feeling? Are we going to take this? I fucking love Travis Head at the moment. He's such an awesome player. He just hasn't put a foot wrong in about 2 years for me. I love the bloke. In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say I'd let the bloke fuck me if I wanted it going that far. But Haxy, I can't believe I just said that. Haxy, what are you thinking for the Boxing Day test? It's in your hometown. What's the gut feeling?
It's going to be a tight one. Very, very tight. I'm thinking... what am I thinking? I think Travis Head's going to get another 50, and Sam Costas is going to make a debut 100, and Aussies are going to win. Let's go.
If you put the knocker on him. If a 19-year-old kid, is he 19?
19 will be the youngest ever Aussie opener.
If he can pull off a century on debut, I reckon that would be absolutely the best Christmas present any of us could get a day late. But anyway, we've got some Kiwi boys. We've got a Victorian who doesn't necessarily watch cricket as much, I don't think, to introduce, boys. So I'm just going to tell a little bit of a story, and I'm going to throw to them and get their opinions here. I finally wrapped up the working year on Friday afternoon. I flirted with taking sick days all week. Healsy will attest to that. I messaged him on Sunday and said I'm feeling a little bit ill, but I stomached it. I kept going through. I kept going to work, and I got to Friday afternoon, and I wound up at the pub for a pub lunch at about 1 o'clock, and I've never seen my locals so busy. Now, I've been sounding like a fucking absolute alcoholic. I go to my local very regularly, and I've seen some very busy nights, but I got there, boys, and the car park is sort of linked to a shopping centre out the front. And when I say shopping centre, it's not what you're imagining in the city, you big smoke fuckwits. It's a very small shopping centre, but it's still attached. It's a little bit further away. Every car park was packed. I've never seen it like it in my life. And I went into the pub, and the line up to get food was, at least 15 minutes long. And I stood there, and I'll throw this to Alpha Kilo, who I'm going to throw to first. I stood there for a while, and I waited to order my fisherman's basket. And the bloke in front of me said, "Oh, mate, I've forgotten my wallet. I'm going to quickly duck off and pick it up. Can you hold my spot in the line?" And I said, "Yes." No worries. Now, there's about 8 people still in front of me, or 8 couples still in front of me to order their food. And by the time I got close to the front there, I'm almost next in line. Old mate decided to come back in and say, "Oh, just going to take my spot back. AK 50, yep, no stress. 05, that is fucking ridiculous," or anywhere in between. What do you feel about that situation? What would you do?
Yeah, 5-0, mate. Let him go for it. You're at the pub, you're having a drink, you're having a feed, let him jump in. No harm, no foul.
Oh.
I'd hope he shouts you a beer afterwards, though.
No, he didn't at all. He was a fucking absolute random. I'd never seen him in my life. That's not the response that I was expecting, but I like it. I liked it because that is exactly what I did. I'm way too chill to cause a fuss. Nolan, what would you do in that situation? Bloke decides to bail off and find his wallet in air quotation marks, and then all of a sudden he comes back when there's only one person to go and jumps straight back in line. How do you react?
Evening, Frankie. That's an interesting one. So did he actually genuinely forget his wallet? Do we think that he just did the old fucking Swifty so he could go sit down and then come back and take a spot? Well,
to be fair, don't know, because I was talking to other people. Like, the way that the line worked, the line serpentines through some tables, so I was having a chat with people I hadn't seen sort of for a few weeks who were also there coincidentally at the same time, so I can't say for certain whether he was being a dog or whether it just worked in his favour.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna go with 2 5-0s here. Right. So I'm gonna go for a 5-0 for let the bloke back in. Right. And sorry, I'm going to go for an 05 if he was just being a prick and fucked off and then came back and took his seat. So, first of all, Frankie, you're a stand-up bloke for just some random giving him a spot back. Like that's just what you should do because you're a fucking good bugger. But if he's a bit of an asshole and just fucked you over, then that's definitely an 05, mate. That's all I got.
Yep, fair. It's a bit of a dog move. Shady, you're the last one I've got to introduce. Merry Christmas, my Kiwi brother. What would you do in that situation?
Mate. I've got one qualifying question for you, Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
What was the interaction when he came back? Did he give you eye contact? Did he give you a bit of a wave? How did that work?
Eye contact. Anything short of a shake of the hand. Like, the shake of the hand was there, but I made the interaction quite brief and just sort of nodded him back in, despite the fact that my colleague next to me, she was giving him fucking deathies for sure, but I kind of just nodded him back in, not to sound like I was a simp or anything, but it's Christmas time, so I didn't want to fucking cause a fuss, and I like my pub, I'm a local there, so...
Frankie, what was the crowd behind, the ones that were waiting behind you, what was their sort of reaction?
A bit of a groan. There was a bit of a groan.
I'm going to go a 3-2 on that. And the reason is, I liken it to you're in traffic, someone's sort of waiting to jump in and you've let them in, and if they don't give you a wave, completely 05. Whereas if they acknowledge it, sweet as mate. And I think the people behind you can just chill the fuck out, to be honest. And
Yeah, I feel you. There's nothing worse than when you're in a fucking big line of traffic and then someone just cruises down your left-hand side after you've already merged and they creep in there. It's a bit like that. Healsy, where do you sit on this one? And then we'll get into our first segment of the night.
I'm with Alpha, man. It's 5-0. It's totally fine. Let him back through. It's Christmas. You don't want to be that guy. Just want to. Hopefully, that person then pays it forward, and you set the tone, and we can all be productive members of society that look out for each other instead of trying to be cunts.
There's just so many useful. You never hear you swear. You don't want to be cunts. On the Christmas fucking podcast, boys. Merry Christmas and a happy holidays if you don't.
Straight naughty list.
Bruh. Welcome to the ladsletloose podcast. I think I think that's this one from Healsy. And I tell you what, the one thing that absolutely ruined it for me after I did let that bloke in, listeners, I ordered myself a fisherman's basket, and after everyone else's food got delivered out into the main bar because we couldn't find room in the bistro, mine didn't get served for 45 minutes. I had to go back and ask where my food was, and they went, "Oh, sorry." So I was a bit shitty that day, but anyway.
That's a bit of a 05 from your local.
I know.
They should be looking after you, you know.
I know.
What's
They
going on,
they did give me a lot of love. They didn't give me a free drink, which is what I was hoping for, but I did have to drive back to work anyway. That's all right. Anyway, boys, it is.
Someone's found the soundboard, eh?
I have.
I like this. This soundboard. He's taking care of us tonight, old Haxy, on the producing end of things. But boys, it is Christmas time, and so we are making the podcast tonight a little bit Christmas themed. And we did something similar last year. We did some New Year's wishes with Papa Heels, and this year we're going to go with Santa Healsy. So, boys, I want you to start thinking now. I'm hopefully you've been thinking about it for a while because I put this run sheet up a few days ago. What do you boys want for Christmas? It can be gaming or it could be something else. And then I also want you thinking about what's your best present ever and what's the worst present ever. Now, when I say best present ever, it could be the best present you've ever given or the best present you've ever received. And then worst present, same deal. Could be something, the worst thing you've ever got, or it could be the worst thing you've ever dished out. Healsy, I'm going to let you take over, and you can throw to whoever you want. I don't have very good answers, so don't throw to me anytime soon. But ho, 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 ho. Santa Healsy, it's all over to you.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello, children. It's Santa Healsy here. I'm going to throw to Alpha first. Alpha, I have one question for you to begin. What do you want for Christmas?
I asked Santa for a genuine Guinness glass because I got sick of drinking out of mason jars, and Santa told me that the Christmas shopping's already done this year. So I'm going out tomorrow and getting myself a Guinness glass, and fuck Santa.
In case Santa needs to look for more Guinness glasses for his friends, where are you going to get a Guinness glass from? Because I've been on a beer glass bench this afternoon.
Probably Amazon.
Nice. Hey, Nalan, what do you want for Christmas, brother?
Hey, well, I'll just AK. I've got a simpler solution for you, mate. Just go down to an Irish bar.
Oh, good shout.
There you go. What do I want for Christmas? I actually had Christmas Day today, which I know is a little bit early. So I actually was up in the city of Stales, Auckland today, and we did the whole presents thing with my parents and my kid and all the rest of it. So I've already had all my presents for this year, and it's not even Christmas Day yet. But what I want for Christmas, and what I've wanted for Christmas for the past 2 years, is PlayStation VR 2.
Did Santa deliver?
No, but Santa Nalan might actually give himself a treat this year.
Nice.
There you go.
Hey, Skin, Santa Healsy wants to know what you want for Christmas.
Yeah, mate. I would love Santa to do me a favour for Christmas. He could head on up to Sony's offices and get them to add mod support for PlayStation on a certain game.
I knew you were going to ask for that. It's on my list. I've received it. It's here at the South Pole. I've got it. I'm trying to make it happen.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's for a certain game that we'll talk about a bit later, but that would be great. Thanks.
Of course, of
Skinny, I
course.
want to know, did you actually write that in your letter to Santa this year? Is that what was specifically in your letter?
Yeah, on my typewriter, I bashed that one out. I said, "Get on down to Sony, please, and make it happen."
Santa Healsy request Hacksaw. Hacksaw, what's on your list for Christmas this year?
Track IR. I need it for DCS. So it's a little camera, like a little webcam. So when you look left, your in-game character looks left. So instead of having the VR goggles, it just goes off a little thing that you put on your head. So you can be on your headphones, your hat, whatever you're wearing. So you don't have to look anymore. It's just where you're looking on the screen is where you're going to look.
That's so cool. Santa Healsy feels as though he needs to upgrade his elves to make that happen. And Frankie, what would you like for Christmas, man?
A very hard question, boys. For many, many years, I asked and I begged for Michelle Pfeiffer and was never delivered. So I think I'm going to ask this year for Margot Robbie, please.
Glorious.
Frankie, I'm sorry to say, mate, but she's already at my place.
Ow. We're going to best presents ever. I'm going to throw straight back to you, Frankie. What's the best present you've ever received for Christmas?
Ooh.
I know you're only 21 years old, but in 21 years, what have you received?
Best present ever. I'll tell you what, boys, you'll like this. It's a bit gaming related, so I can bring gaming related. I can bring it back to the podcast. When I don't even know how old I was, but I remember one year for Christmas, I got all my presents, and then Mum and Dad were like, "Oh, there's one more," and they put out a bit of a sort of like a sort of crumb trail, of a Hansel and Gretel trail that led to a drawer. And when I finally opened up the drawer, there was this present in there, and I unwrapped it, and inside was one of the original Game Boys. With Tetris and NBA Jam, but the Game Boy was one of those Game Boys that was totally clear, so you could see the inside of it. It wasn't just like a normal Game Boy. Yeah, I got one of those for Christmas one year, and that was fucking sick, and I played it all day, and it sounds crazy these days to hear that you would be able to play something that you couldn't even see without a light because it wasn't backlit or anything like that, but that was my best present ever, bro.
Oh, man, the nostalgia was hitting me hard then. That's gorgeous. How about you, Alpha? Best present you've ever had, man?
It would have to be the 2001 Christmas with the release of the Xbox with Halo Combat Evolved, the very first Halo, when that dropped. Nice. That was a spicy one. And I've still got my old school Game Boy Frankie without the backlight on it. I was repping Jurassic Park or something the other night on it.
I'm not an Xbox guy, but I definitely was a Game Boy. I was never cool enough to have the clear one, but the Game Boy was just absolutely awesome. And I remember like playing Tetris and stuff on it, and it was so much fun. And anyone that had a Game Boy, growing up in a small country town, anyone that had a Game Boy, you were like next level. So
anyone that had a Game Boy and then rocked red or blue Pokemon, like you were just a fucking goat kid, like running around town. But I never had the thing that could connect it to other people's Game Boys, so I had to rely on my mates that had the little connection thing so that we could share the original Pokemon. I don't know if anyone knows about that, but yeah, that was
Pokemon Red.
Yeah, I was a Red boy too.
Nalan, what's your best present, man?
I actually changed my mind on this a couple of times. Just hearing the gaming stories, it took me back down memory lane to when I was a kid in the 90s. And I actually saved up all year. This is a pretty cool story. I saved up all year. I had a paper run back in the day when you had a paper run. And I flew to Melbourne to spend Christmas with my dad. And he put in some money, I put in some money, and we bought all the parts to build my first PC. And so he's a computer programmer, so we built this PC, and it was my very, very first PC, and obviously I had games on it, so I was playing games like Doom when it first got released, SimCity, Grand Theft Auto 1 when it was in 2D, that kind of stuff. So that was probably my best present because it was hugely rewarding to actually build my first PC.
Yeah, that's so nice. It's definitely the theme of gaming and family coming through super strong. Skin, what's your best present ever from Christmas, brother?
Yeah, back when I was a young whippersnapper, I also received a Game Boy as a gift from Santa, but this one was the Game Boy Advance SP. So
Nice.
it was the old flip open and had the backlight, so I could actually play it without the lights on. So I couldn't even tell you how many hours I would have logged on that. And Pokemon Emerald, that was a go-to. But another very thoughtful gift I actually got, and it wasn't from Santa. It was actually from my fiance. Would have been probably 5 or 6 years ago now. Was a copy of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
She knows you.
That was pretty overpowered, that gift. Yeah, so I think I've been pretty lucky in that sense.
Christmas has been kind to you. Haxsaw, best present Christmas ever?
Since I've been with my missus, just a constant every year getting Lego Star Wars and the good stuff. Can't go wrong there.
Stuff?
The Millennium Falcon, the AT-AT. I'm just looking at my collection right now. The X-Wing, the Razor Crest, the Star Destroyer, all of them.
You got an X-Wing there, buddy?
Sure do.
That's so hot.
Isn't there like some big what's the bad guys and they have a big ship? Is there one of those ones?
The Star Destroyer. The Star Destroyer. Yep.
You're not talking about the Capital Destroyer though, like the Capital ship. Yeah.
Super Star Destroyer. Haven't got that.
Ooh, hopefully Santa Healsy comes through. Call me if he doesn't.
I will.
All right, we're moving on to
What's yours, Healsy? What's yours?
Mine's definitely gaming. I remember playing International Cricket 95 on a Nintendo Entertainment System in Manjimup as a teenager in the early 90s, and it was just fucking next gen. And I just loved the fact that you could just flick like off your pads over mid wicket for 6 if you just knew how to hold the buttons correctly.
Yeah,
and there was only 2 buttons on a Nintendo Entertainment System. It was A or B, and it was probably my introduction to gaming back then in the early 90s, and it was incredible, and I've got super fond memories. And I think it's like one of those sliding doors moments where your folks buy you a gaming console, and that sort of defines a little bit of how your hobbies and your life sort of plays out afterwards. So, yeah, fond memories from that as a country boy, playing games in a in a rental in a country town. It was very cool. I'm going to ask one more question before we throw it over to AK for a Hell Let Loose roundup. My last question to the boys is, what's your worst present ever? If I may, I'm going to get it started, and it's not my present that was given to me. It was a present that I gave to someone else for Secret Santa. I was at work, and you know the old Secret Santa work do, and it's like it's touch and go, and people put different levels of like appreciation towards it. Some people see it as like this is something that you have to take very seriously, and then the other spectrum is you have to, you just have fun with it and enjoy. I went have fun with it and enjoy, and I bought a present where it's like I don't know if you remember a few years back, there were chickens. They were made from plastic, and you could squeeze them, and the eyeballs would come out. That's the present that I bought for my Secret Santa. I didn't know who it was. Obviously, it's just the way it was set up across the staff was that it was just random. The person that picked it was like literally the most conservative staff member on the team, and she grabbed it. And I remember her crying at the fact that somebody would ruin Christmas by providing a present of this kind of like degenerate behavior. So I'm owning the fact that I gave the worst Christmas present ever as part of Secret Santa. Frankie, please pull me out of this shit. What's What's the worst present you've ever received, man?
That's fucking brutal. I was loving it until you said that she
You're never
was
alone when you're
crying.
Christ.
Oh, I'll go with the worst one that I've received. I've done some shockers. I suck. The biggest thing that I try to avoid at work every year is the Secret Santa. I don't care how much people put the pressure on in terms of how much you need to spend. It doesn't matter how much you need to spend. I still fuck up every time. So I've made it a thing now that my presents are the worst. So whoever gets me in terms of Secret Santa is just going to get a shit present. But in terms of the worst one that I received, it's got to be the old-fashioned one. And a few of the other boys might jump onto this. There's nothing worse than the Lynx Africa perfume pack. So
I agree.
Body spray.
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's the worst. The best present.
You smell
Body
like
spray,
success.
body wash. It's fucking disgusting. Frank and Augie fame of Augie decided to drive through America with me, and he had the body wash and the body spray the whole way through, and jumping into the fucking Malibu that we rented every day as we drove through from Chicago. It's a Santa Monica. It was fucking disgusting. I hate Lynx Africa. It's so gross, but that would definitely be the worst present I've ever received. Nolan, what's yours?
I was just going to say you've just broken AK's heart here because the poor bastard, he gets one of those every year and it lasts him for a whole year. Oh, poor AK. Worst present I've ever got. I'm looking at some online right now. So think of a safari hat, right? So one of those big safari hats.
Yeah.
So my parents bought me one of these safari hats for some fucking reason unknown to me. And that was literally the only present I got that year, was a fucking safari hat. So it's sitting in my garage collecting dust because who wears a fucking safari hat? So that's probably the worst present I've ever received. Something that I've never used, never worn. It's just literally sat in my garage. So, Skinny, over to you, mate.
Yeah, mate. I'm gonna take you all back to 10-year-old me, and you're gonna have to get in sort of the mindset there. Otherwise, it sounds really insensitive. So, I'm sort of, just opening up this gift, and it's just in a little envelope. It's a bit of a card sort of thing, and you think, oh, card, here we go. We're gonna get a bit of dough here. We're gonna be flush, and I open it, and no money falls out. So I think, okay, must be some gift card or something. And then it turns out it was a goat that was donated on my behalf to a village in Africa.
Oh.
So remember, you got to be in the 10-year-old me mindset, because thinking about it now, what a thoughtful gift. You're giving to someone who doesn't have it, and that's awesome. But as a child, you're sort of going, yeah, but where's my goat? Like, so that was at the time.
So you actually wanted the goat? You wanted the goat yourself?
He wants it.
What? Just something tangible, like. So that's probably. I mean, I suppose it probably taught me some great humility in that moment. But for that, that would have been at the time my worst Christmas gift. So what about?
I like it.
What about you, Haxy? What's been your biggest bomb of a gift?
Probably the fucking Lynx things. I was thinking about it all day today. Like, what would be the worst Christmas present? But I just want to point out, like, I've also
The Twitch stream. Oh my god!
I found the kid that got the kid's goat.
Nice. I'm glad he's enjoying it.
He's loving you, goat. He's called a Bubba.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Where are we at? Is that done? Is that
Sorry.
all done? I'm trying to recover from the PC around the goat kid. Like, I'm not sure how to handle it. I'm gonna push on. Is there anyone else that has it? Sorry,
Did we get any good reactions? Did we get any good reactions from the chat? I'm just trying to scream through the chat now.
Punisher likes it. I think Dan Harry 12 doesn't mind it either.
Oh, honey, fucking boys! Comment through your worst or your best Christmas presents so that Haxy can get this fucking shit off there. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we need new photos. Come on.
Oh, that was one of your.
Hey, can I just say one thing about the Lynx Africa? Fucking funny story about that. My nana used to buy my dad Lynx Africa every year, and you know what he used to do with it? He used to tuck it in the toilet and use it as fucking toilet spray after you'd been for a dump.
Yeah,
Unreal.
That's how all it was good for.
It's the best smell in the world. It's the best for combating.
Like it's not that bad, but when you're driving through the Midwest of America with your mate who smokes darts and you don't smoke, so it's like this combination of cigarette smell, which is really pungent, with Lynx Africa. It's just like, fuck, bro, you need to. And then he's looking at you each night going, why am I not pulling chicks? And it's like, what do you fucking reckon? Like, I just can't stand the smell. And it's, there you go. Haxy's put it up there. If anyone buys that for a friend or for a loved one this year, you're a fucking dog, mate.
Send it to me. Send it to me. I'll take it. I love that shit.
Yeah, send it to me.
I'll buy yourself a kilo.
Yeah.
Breathe it in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, guys, if you guys want the PO box for the Lads Let Loose podcast, just reach out to us in a DM. We're going to send it through to you, and the only person that clears that is Frankie, so he will enjoy that.
Guy left heartbroken after not getting Lynx Africa for Christmas. No. Tell you what, boys, that's a fucking average present. But anyway, AK, I'm going to go to the toilet because it's Christmas and I'm allowed to. But you've got a little bit of a Hell Let Loose roundup. So give us your worst and the boys can react to that. And by the time I get back, hopefully it's done because it's a broken piece of shit. Shit out, Crispy. Just kidding. Let us know what you're thinking, bros, and then I'll come back and talk to you soon.
All good, thanks, mate. Just did the shout out on the last podcast and on the GC network as well. Just for the clan guys to throw out a bit of their update there. What's going on in the clan world from their side. So I've had a few guys reach out for a shout out, and I'll just run through them now. TRL, Gozza wants to shout out to all the TRL boys. Safe and Merry Christmas to all of them. TRL are headed into TPL's main event in 2025, and Gozza's also heading to the Philippines in 2025 on a big move. So all the best to Gozza on the move to the Philippines. Enjoy the high ping playing with the Aussie guys there, mate. ANZR, last time ANZR was on the potty, they had just started, been finding their feet, working on all that goes on being a clan in the OCE community. They're planning to be back as a big competitor in the OCE comp scene. 5 months later, they've done it. They are in TPL Light, but unfortunately, they just took a loss. That happens, boys. Keep it up, keep growing, keep working on the tactics, and I'm sure you'll turn that loss into a win. New boys on the block is the MSU guys, named after the M Special Unit, the precursor to the Aussie Commandos in World War II. There is early phase for them. I've snuck into the Discord. Very sexy Discord the boys have set up over there. It's all well structured and set out. Aiming to build up their clan and participate in the next season of Summit Valley. And last but not least, we've got TFMC in 11th. TFMC going into Christmas, chilling for a bit over the Christmas series. Small winter league games they've got going on. They had a win last week over R22R and had WRTB Sunday morning. I'll get the update from Skin and Allen how they went with that. They've got great new talent coming through, and the new TFMC server is running smooth as butter, so that's always good to hear. beer. And last but not least is the 11th guys. They are still here. They are still kicking. Big positive for those guys that are still hanging around. Haven't been much going on over there. Just they're going through a rebuild stage and get the clan back to full competition standard rather than just running through their small games. So that's the roundup from the clan side of stuff. I'm just going to have, rather than doing a Rofs one, I'm just going to do a little bit of my own. Look, this game is one of those games that attracts a little bit of negativity. It was something we try to avoid talking about, and I'm definitely not going to bring it up on the podcast or anything like that. I'm just going to have a little bit of a hot minute on why it's good, to be honest. From my perspective, I was probably running around as a blueberry at about level 60-ish. I went up to a squad lead in Blue Chat, asked to join his squad. Instead, he told me to get my phone out and punch in rofs.info. Just like that, I was immersed in the clan world and on the competitive scene pretty much full time. From there, I was basically just an attacker for Rofs, moved up to squad lead, moved up to moderator, and now I'm on the leadership team for Rofs, and I'm also sitting on this podcast. So big thing is the term that gets thrown around a lot is it's just a game. It's always hear it. Totally agree. But when it is more than just a game to me, is I've made genuine real friends from this game, from this clan, from this OC community that we've got. People that I've travelled and met in real life as well. Had the opportunity to catch up with the boys in Melbourne and a couple of the boys in Adelaide for a beer. From my perspective, just don't be a dickhead on the game, and you never know where it'll take you. You could end up finding yourself sitting on a podcast or in a clan leadership team. I just want to take just a little section just to share my kind of story and how good Hell Let Loose has been to me, and just a very special thank you to everyone that's in Hell Let Loose and the OC community. Be good to each other, and you'll never know what happens. That's my wrap up.
Alpha, who was that squad lead, mate? Who was that squad lead that you walked up to in Blue Chat?
I'm probably not allowed to say his name on here, but Crawley. It was Creepy Crawley back in the day.
Oh, yeah, cool, nice. And he got you the Rofs info?
Yeah. Just said punch rofs.info into the phone, and that was it. Linked me straight to the Discord, and then from there, it's been the weird little wild up and down roller coaster that it's been for the last 2-something years, however longer I've been in Rofs.
It's just a game, but it's more than a game, isn't it? Because
absolutely
that just led to so much, and I love how you've captured that. And that's, I think, in a way, the way that you've spoken it, that's why you fit so well within the Lads Let Loose sort of mantra, is the fact that we always set out to try and focus on the positives and encourage people to create friendships and relationships and build a community that was one that we could be proud of. And you're a standing individual that sort of says that, you know, if I take advantage of these opportunities and I do that positively, then it leads to other things. And I love the way that you've captured it in such a nice light, bro. And I'm so glad, like, as a Rofs member as well and part of the leadership team with you, you've been nothing short of fucking exceptional, man. So love that
thanks,
I love that you're a Hell Let Loose correspondent, because we're all here because of Hell Let Loose from the beginning, and the fact that you now, you know, you're here on the podcast with us, and that you kind of, like, to be vulnerable, like, you're reminding me of, I haven't played the game in about fucking 4 weeks, probably since the last comp game that I played. So it's sort of like hearing you speak, it's very inspirational and reminds me of, like, why you actually play the game, because it's the people that you get to play with and those little one-to-one nuanced moments that happen out on the battlefield that then lead to greater things. And your way of capturing that was really, really nice, bro. Thank you for like speaking and reminding me of that, because it can get lost in all the fucking negativity that gets thrown around.
No, all good, brother. And I think it's just my thing. This has pretty much been my first online multiplayer game that I've really done, especially community based. And Rofs was my first Discord server as well. So I just went into it with the aspect is I really just get back kind of what you give out. I try not to be a dickhead, and no one's a dickhead to me. So it seems to be the winning structure. I think if you're nice to people, and it just gets thrown back around. I think, like, if you go in with a dickhead mentality, you're going to get dickhead mentality thrown back at you. So
That's actually 100% okay. Just thinking about it, like I've never really had any run-ins with anyone in the community, and I think a lot of that is because there's no beef to grind. So you put in if you put in positivity into your interactions with people, that's what you're going to get back. And just sort of touching on that point about it being a game. Well, it is just a game, but it's the relationships that you form from that game that transcend the game itself. So crossover into Ross catch up, and was it Melbourne you guys caught up in?
yeah, we did one in Melbourne. We've actually got one coming up next year in March. We're going to the Gold Coast for the Roths meetup in the Gold Coast next year too. So looking forward to that.
That's fucking epic, right? So that's kind of the huge positive that comes out of the community, and obviously we're getting a bit of crossover into other games with the community as well, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. Yeah, that's all I got.
Fair enough. Well, that's
Frankie
yeah, I'm here. I've been here for a while. I've just been listening along, and I completely agree with everything that's been said. The old chat went a bit quiet there. I thought there would have been some people weighing in on their thoughts in terms of Hell Let Loose, but they're just listening along. So I jumped back in for the first time, AK, this week, and did a little bit of a stream and some commentary, and boys seem to get involved a little bit, but it was my first time jumping back in. Boogie says TFMC update on the game today. Boogie, I'm pretty sure TFMC lost, so I don't know what the go is there. Shady might be able to...
Boogie for bringing that up.
Shady might be able to...
Yes, it was a narrow 2-3, but good. I think a good hit out with a... We only did a 30v30, just a wee friendly, and I think it was good for all the guys to sort of... I don't know, you guys probably understand, but with that lower player count, you've got to be so much more careful about where you're positioning everyone. And I think it's sort of good practice for then when you've got that extra 20, you've got much more ability to, throw them where you need them. So, yeah, definitely good practice, and thanks to WRTB for turning up and playing with us.
And one day, Boogie will wake up to himself and realise he's an Australian, buy a fucking Ocean Reach Brewing six-pack and start playing for TFMC, but we'll see that one day.
Boogie, I can see you in chat there, mate. I just got one question. How's the eyes of the dog going for you today?
The eye of the dog. Anyway,
Yeah.
if anyone wasn't listening, Boogie had an absolute shocker in the fucking Lads Let Loose. Oh, sorry, not the Lads Let Loose Discord, the GC Discord today. Instead of saying he had the hair of the dog, he had the eye of the dog. The fucking absolute nonce. So, but that's all right. He's from I think he's from Morisset or something, so he can't help it.
So he's clutching with the TFMC loss today because he's feeling like absolute arse, and so he's just throwing bullets at us because he's fucking suffering himself. So keep suffering, Borgie. Go another drink, mate.
Suffer your fucking flog. Anyway, that's enough. He said, boys, he says he's back on it. So, Boogie's here with us all the way through to the end of the evening. But that's the Hell Let Loose roundup. And thank you very much. I'll echo what Healsy said to AK there. It's very much appreciated, mate. Thank you very much for doing that. There's no chance I'd ever fucking be bothered doing something so similar. So you've done the community well. But Haxy, mate, the next part that we're unleashing here before we move into a bit of a Christmas special, I've labelled this Haxy's secret porn stash, and the boys don't know what we're talking about. Would you like to take over and take a little bit of control?
Yeah, so just scrolling YouTube today, trying to look for a teaser, and I stumbled upon this one, and it's something Hell Let Loose people keep asking for. It looks fucking amazing. And I can't wait to see everyone's reaction because I was pretty much mind blown when I seen it. It is done so well. So, Frankie, whenever you want me to punch it out, let me know.
Oh, go for it, bros. And boys, as he plays it, I guess react afterwards.
Here we go.
Squad 44 with the Pacific update. When I first watched that, boys, I did not expect it to be Squad 44. I thought it was just a random new IP that was being brought out there. But AK, what's your initial reaction?
That looks sick. Very excited for that. Hopefully that's... is that coming for the PlayStation? I missed that bit.
That is PC.
PC.
I do have a game that...
That just takes me right back to Battlefield 5, which I played way too much of and thoroughly enjoyed. I know people hate on it, but I'm not having any of that. But anyway, yeah, Squad, great game, and stacking Pacific on top of that it's almost new ground in a sense that the more hardcore tactical strategic shooter getting into that Pacific area, that's going to be huge for that game, and it just looks me. Got to try it.
Yeah, definitely. Nolan, thoughts?
It looks good. I actually had flashbacks, or maybe PTSD, if you will, from Medal of Honor Pacific Assault, which was released in 2004. So that instantly I was reminded of that. But yeah, that looks pretty sick. Blindside charge. Yeah, I'm keen for that.
And Healsy, Punny's just said he's bailing for the night, so happy Christmas or happy holidays, Punny, whichever one you suit. But Healsy, what's your reaction when you saw that?
It's awesome. Like, the Pacific is something that you, as an Australian, you go, yeah, cool, this is something we're a part of. The part where they put the American flag up at the end, I was like, okay, cool. I can still get around it, but it's just like, of course, America just putting their fucking tag on everything that is could be like anything, the World Series, whatever it might be. It's always just America, but that's all goods.
I do have one more trailer for you guys to watch as well.
Yes, you do. There's one more, boys. Get yourselves ready.
All right, ready?
Yep.
I bet you guys, but my pants are already on the floor.
Now, I've played the beta on that, and the multiplayer is a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to the campaign.
Oh, fucking sneezing. Sorry, boys. Immediate reactions, Healsy.
Just reminds me of the movie by Ridley Scott, and looks fucking sick as fuck.
Oh,
and I'd love to play it. It looks cool.
AK.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change my Christmas answer. I don't want a Guinness glass anymore, babe. You're gonna have to get PC, I think, because that's 2 wicked games coming on PC. Don't laugh. What are you laughing for?
No, that's fair. I'm agreeing with you. I'm laughing with you.
No, that was at my missus. The missus is pissing herself laughing. Obviously, I'm not getting a PC for Christmas.
Yeah. Shut up. Shady.
It looks really well crafted. Like that's the best way I can describe it. And that's the same as the Delta Force that came. You're talking about that beta, aren't you, Hax?
Yeah. So that's the beta.
Yeah.
Yep. So they've released the multiplayer one, and that's obviously the campaign side of it, which they've just released, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, there were definitely some iffy thoughts about it when it came out, but if it looks anything like the trailer, that's going to be popular. Do you have any other thoughts, Narlan, apart from pants down?
Yeah, sorry guys, I was just finishing. It looks amazing. Obviously, just referencing the movie as well. Probably a movie I've watched about 25 times or more. So, when this comes out, is it on PC? Is this only PC, Hacks?
It's coming PC, and I'm pretty sure it's coming out on PlayStation as well after. I think PC is getting it first.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So as soon as it's out on PlayStation, I'm buying it. That's what's happening. So it looks awesome. What can I say? Over to you, Frank.
What's the other one that I got made to play? I played it with Joshy from the Six, which is a bit of a dirty name, but he's a legend.
6 days.
Days. That as soon as I saw it, I thought, "Fuck, this looks like 6 days of Fallujah."
They've just released a new thing on that, so they've finally released a campaign on that, and that is fucking sick, but fucking hard to do.
Yeah, so the PC first-person shooter scene is looking fucking very sexy at the moment. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm shit at all of them anyway, but I can't wait to see what they end up doing with all of that stuff. But boys, if we're happy, that's Hax's porn stash. Any final reactions? Any final reactions there, Healsy?
No, it's gorgeous. I just it reminds me of that fucking awesome movie, and who wouldn't want to be able to play a game that reminds you of a cinematic masterpiece? So yeah, no, it's cool, man.
Yeah, just those the Boogie's talking about it now in the chat. The urban warfare, the urban modern warfare. It's just something you don't get in Hell Let Loose, and it's something you don't get in ARMA. And I think that's going to separate it a lot. But you need a PC to play it. But yeah, I'll be definitely getting amongst it for sure. I can't wait to see what's going on. But it's Christmas, boys, and it wouldn't be Christmas if we weren't having a little bit of fun. So it's time to switch it over. I'm going to require Healsy to use his fingers to count and keep score.
Oh, okay, yep, gotcha, no problem.
Yeah, no, it's nothing dirty. And I might need Haxy to keep his fingers and keep score as well. But all I really need is AK and Shady to get themselves prepared and start thinking about a few things, because in a second we are going to play Christmas Scattegories. So we've got Narlan, we've got Healsy, we've got Hax to be the umpires, the 3-man panel, to make sure there's no cheating, to make sure nothing goes on too long. Basically, boys, and listeners that are listening along now, the boys, AK and Shady, can see the list, but they don't know the letter. I'm eventually, in a second, going to list a few things, and I'm going to put a letter in front of it, and the boys have to name something that starts with that letter in terms of the category that I'm presenting, I'm doing a fucking shit job.
Yeah.
of explaining
What is
this.
happening?
Basically, the boys
Is
are
there
going to
just a
hear.
tutorial for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, I think we need to. This is
It's
like
gonna take
going
5
into
minutes.
Is there a
Arma
QR
Raw,
code
right?
that I can scan and
This
find
is
out what's
literally
going on?
into Arma Raw.
Righto, shut the fuck up. I'm going to explain this a little bit better now. The boys are going to get given like a category, and then before they get that category, I'm going to say a letter, and they have to list something in that category that starts with that letter, and the first person to do it earns a point. So Healsy and Hax and Nalan are going to keep score. So let's do a little quick example before these other two jump into it. I might say, what is the first? This is to you, Healsy, because we're doing a little practice run. Healsy,
Okay.
the letter is M, and I'm going to say a fast food brand starting with M.
McDonald's.
There you go. So, whatever the letter is, and whatever the category is, whoever says it first gets a point. This is our Christmas. I wonder what happens if you scan this QR code.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap.
I feel like the boys should have their own buzzers or something. Like a fucking.
Well,
for example,
this is
Skinny should
why-
have like a goat scream or something.
This is this is why I've got you two plus. This is why I've got you two plus Hacks as the adjudicators to tell me when someone gets their words in first. So, boys, Scattegories, the Christmas challenge, AK versus Shady. Confirm if you are ready to go. Shady, yes.
Yeah, boy.
AK, yes.
I just love how quickly Tankenhill said Maccas when he wasn't versing anyone. I'm ready.
I'm currently winning though, Alpha. So catch up.
We've been practicing all week. All right, this is the Christmas Scattegories challenge. If you are playing along, put your answers in the Twitch Discord, or if you're playing tomorrow in YouTube, play along. You don't really need to write it because we've already done it, but play along with us here. AK versus Shady. The letter is L. RPG. A role-playing game starting with L.
Legend of Zelda?
Oh,
Count that. Who got that one, boys?
That was Skinny.
JD.
Okay.
One for
1-0
Skinny.
to Shady. First-person shooter.
What's the letter?
Do we get a letter or?
It's still L. It's L. It's L all the way through,
It's
boys.
L
Oh, okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
No googling, boys. We're watching. We are watching.
Nah,
your
I got
ideas,
nothing.
Right?
Points. Shady's still in front. Still the letter L. It's L all the way through. A fast food brand.
La Pachetta. La Pachetta?
Taking that.
It's a restaurant.
Ah,
Is it
come
a
on.
fast food? Is it a fast food or a
They do
restaurant?
pizza.
It's up to Healsy. It's up to Healsy.
Oh, you can't. I'm a Roths boy. So yeah, that's fine, Alpha. That's perfect, man. Just keep it going.
Let's
It's
see
1-1.
A lot of bias going on here, but we're going to
It
count
is
that.
the worst bias thing I've ever heard, but fair enough. All right. So it's
AK
1 all. It's 1 all.
Yep.
1 all. A sport beginning with L. Whoa.
Luge.
That's a
Well,
win.
that's in the Olympics, isn't it?
2-1.
Yep,
2-1.
yep.
Leamington Cup.
2-1.
Oh,
Boys, it's already over. So 2-1. A hero beginning with L.
Let's see.
Link.
sorry, what was that, Skinny? Can you repeat?
Let's let loose.
No,
I said Link. Link.
AK. Yeah, got to go AK
I was
on
going
that
to
one.
say, so boys, my whole theory was I'm going to let Healsy be the one to be the judge that calls these things, but he just said recently, I've got to back the Rolls boy, so I don't know if I can trust
don't
him.
trust me, man. Default to Narlan, please.
Wait,
So Nolan, you're in charge.
Okay,
Nolan,
don't
you're in
default to
charge.
Narlan.
Nolan, you're-
I'll be the
Let's
boss.
not be biased.
I'll charge.
Come on, Jesus Christ.
I'll charge. I say no to Lads Let Loose. Because then you have to
I
name all
was
of us.
happy with the link.
Yeah,
Yes,
I gave
Link.
that one to AK. So that's 2-2,
2-1.
I believe.
2-1.
No, 2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
Oh, 2-2. 2-2. All right, a first name beginning with L.
Liam.
Your boys can call that.
That was Hills. That was Alpha.
Yeah, definitely Healsy. Definitely Healsy.
Alpha.
All right,
Healsy.
Alpha.
Just stay
It's
out of it.
2, 2, and 2. Beautiful.
That's-
I'm in this.
That's 3-2 to Alpha. An old school... by the way, the rules are you can't repeat an answer. An old school classic game beginning with L.
Lego.
Fuck it.
It
Look,
wasn't
that's
stipulated that it was
It
a
It wasn't
computer game.
stipulated that it was a
Yeah.
computer game.
No, he's in the rules there.
Is it a game or a toy?
Nah. He didn't speculate.
Okay, that's AK's. That's
What's the
your
score
fault,
now?
Frankie.
4-2.
4-2.
4-2.
Now, that
4-2.
Frankie, you need to specify a little bit with, hang on, specificity. That's what you need,
Yeah,
mate.
sorry, Shady. I tried to look after you there. Starting with L, a member of the GC Discord.
Jesus, do we have anyone that starts with L?
I'm actually just checking this now.
There is.
I can only find one.
Me too.
Liam.
You can't repeat an answer.
That's-
You
you can't
can't
repeat
repeat
the
an answer.
Lankin Hills?
I'm told, but
know.
not that.
There is one. There is one.
There's 4.
There's one.
Lycan.
Should I know it?
Maybe.
There's one that joined 4 days ago.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Borgie's put it in there if anyone gets it first.
Lost like your dad.
There you go. Okay,
No.
that's the result.
There's another one. There's another one too. There's Little Chewy.
Who's the other one?
Little Chewy.
Oh, what about Little General? Was he?
Oh, Little-
Yeah. He wouldn't be in there,
What's
though.
the score? What's the score? What's the score? Is it a draw?
Score is 4-2 to AK at the moment.
Jesus. Shady, you got to start climbing. Starting with L, a city or a town name.
Leaston.
Lithgow.
Done.
Whoa.
Done.
Shady.
That's Shady.
That was Shady.
Shady.
It's because I grew up there.
4-3.
Ah, good one.
4-3. A car brand starting
Lexus.
with L.
Lexus.
4-4.
Oh, it's 4-0, baby. Come on.
4-0.
A drawing. A movie starting with L.
Lego.
You've already used that.
Yeah, but it was wrong, right? Oh no, you took Lego. Sorry.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No,
No,
you
fair.
can't use that answer.
Oh, that's a free one to AK then.
Is it? Because I can't think of any.
Okay,
come on.
5, 4,
First person.
3,
First person.
2, 1, 0. It's still a tie.
What did you get, Frankie?
Land before time, guys.
Land Before
Land Before
Time.
Time. There you go. Yeah, Land of the Lost. Oh, lots of land stuff. All right.
Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. Let's take a moment.
It's still a tie.
Yes, still a tie.
Starting with
4.
L, a clothing item.
Levi's.
Alpha. 5-4.
Didn't even think brands. I was thinking leg warmers.
No.
I was thinking like Asian names.
I like leg warmers. Leg warmers is good. Starting with L, an animal.
Lion.
Lion.
Skin.
Shady.
5-all.
Skinny, baby.
5-all.
Alcoholic beverage.
Limoncello.
What is that?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one, Skinny. Nice
What's
one.
that licorice shit?
It's limoncello. It tastes like lemon. All
No.
right.
6-5.
Last one. It's either a tie or it's a Shady win. Any game ever starting with
There you
L
go, Harry
now.
Potter.
Oh! Final score 7 to Skin and 5 to AK.
Well done, Skinny.
Any
Got
game
me
with
in
a
there, mate.
Lego Harry fucking Potter is the shittest answer I think I've ever heard.
I was going to say Lynx Adventure, so I don't think mine was going to be much better.
Yeah, fair.
I'd like to thank all
All
the
right, well
haters
done.
who said I could never
Congratulations.
do it.
Shady, any final words that you'd like to give to the boys after your fantastic win while the fucking random thing is still up on our chat?
Yeah,
You should really scam that too.
Yeah.
You should really
suck
scan
at
it.
AK with your biased Healsy judge.
And I still lost.
Oh, that's fucking gold. Well done,
I
Shady.
just want a shout out for Skin as well for representing the Kiwis here tonight. Yet again, another Kiwi win over the Aussies. Thank you very much.
Well, I was going to shout him out too. Finally, a win for TFMC. We don't win much these days.
Finally, TFMC beat Ross.
Shout out Liam. He knows who he is.
Yeah, I know, man. Anyway, that was our.
Liam the log.
That was our little Christmas Scattegories challenge. We might do another one for New Year's. Who knows? Who fucking cares? See if we can get a couple of other boys. I wouldn't mind taking on Healsy, actually. Maybe we'll see how we go. But boys, Healsy brought this one up way before the podcast started, and I don't know if all of us have watched it, but I know a couple of us have. There's a new TV series on Amazon Prime. I'm only subscribed to Amazon Prime because I get free deliveries from Amazon. It's literally the only reason, but there's a new series called Secret Level that Healsy brought to our attention amongst other boys in the Discord, which there is a link in the YouTube. If you are watching this back on YouTube, there'll be a link there for you to see what we're up to. But it's basically a little series. Healsy, you can take over from me in a second. A little series that's basically based on different video games for each episode. I've watched one, which was the Dungeons and Dragons one, and I know AK has watched one as well, which was the Warhammer episode. I don't know how many you've watched, Healsy, but what's your thoughts, bro? Give me your thoughts on Secret Level.
I'm so glad that we get a chance to talk about this. I've watched the first 5. I actually got up to the Warhammer one and went, fuck, that was so good. I just need to stop and not actually... I pity the next one that comes after it. They're short little films. They're sort of 5 to 15 minutes each of them. The first few that I watched were absolutely amazing. I loved the Warhammer one, though. It just the animation style, we were able to watch it now, thanks to Haxy. He's putting it up there for us. The unison that the boys are working together in, it's got a deeper message in regards to the fact that it's about that history of the space marine and where they actually come from, and how that influences the outcome of the story that's actually being told here. Fuck, it was good. I think it's Tim Miller. He was the guy that directed the first Deadpool. He's the guy that's in charge of making all these films. It's wonderful. It's very much in the vein of the same producers that did Love, Death and Robots. That was on Netflix. They've done a couple of seasons of that. I love this type of shit. Being a filmy guy, where young people are able to make kind of like an impact, where they don't have a massive budget, but they've got an idea where they're able to tell a cool little story in a short period of time and take you on that journey. The fact that they've aimed this specifically at sort of people that love gaming, it's like win-win for me. I'm loving this, and like cinematically, just watching some of these images now, some of these shots you can't do in real life. So being able to use animation to be able to capture some of these shots is just absolutely awesome. Frankie, I know you loved there was a little sneak peek there of the Dungeons and Dragons one. I know you loved the Dungeons and Dragons one. How have you found it?
I loved it. I fucking loved every second of it. I had to go out whenever I watched it. I don't remember what day it was, but it was last week, and I had like sort of 15 minutes to spare, and I thought, I'll quickly just have a look at this series and see how long it goes for. And then I saw how long the episodes go. It was 12 minutes for the Dungeons and Dragons one. I was like, fuck, I'm just going to spend 12 minutes watching this, and it's fucking brilliant. In terms of Dungeons and Dragons lore, like it nailed all of the roles within the opening minute of what I wanted to see, and then I saw how long it went for, and I was gutted. I was like, "Fuck." I wanted to see something longer. I could watch 45 minutes of this, but it had all the roles. It had a cleric, or no, it wanted a cleric, but it had but it had a warrior. It had a mage. It had the little gnome that was doing
Druid there, I think.
their thing. It was the druid. Like, it was just fucking sick. And then to think that there's a bunch of other episodes that are based on one, including one on Pac-Man. Oh shit, am I still there? Oh fuck, am I still there?
Hear you, brother.
Can you hear me? Yeah, nice. Even one that's based on Pac-Man as well. So I'm just going to quickly plug my mic back in. Sorry, you might have lost me there for a sec. Even one on Pac-Man, based on all the different things that are going on. So I absolutely loved it. I think it's going to be awesome. I just wish they were longer. Did anyone else see it? I think it was AK that also watched it as well. AK, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I watched the 40k one. Obviously, I've gone balls deep into the 40k universe, reading the books, painting the tabletop miniatures. Froth on it, mate. It was very, very well done. As you said, they're only short. I think the Warhammer one might have been 28 minutes or something like that. I actually watched it on my phone at work on a lunch break and just instantly went, I've got to get home and actually watch this on the big screen because it just was that absolutely good. But also keen to check out the Sifu episode as well, because I played a bit of the Sifu on PlayStation 5 as well.
I watched the Sifu one. It's fucking cool. I haven't played the game, but it in a way, like, it reverses. It helps you, as somebody that hasn't played the game, you get a sense of what the game must be about by watching the episode that's on Sifu, and it's a cool story that's associated with it as well, around just living your life and making the most of opportunities. It's really cool. Like, I think that's what I like about it, is that it's deeper than just, hey, cool, let's blow shit up, or hey, cool, let's shoot people in the head. It's very much about telling the underneath story, which I think a lot of us sort of gravitate to when we're actually enjoying games, that deeper meaning that's in behind it.
Yep, agreed. And I know the rest of the boys haven't watched it, so we'll cut it there. But the Sifu episode is definitely the next on my list. I can't wait to watch that. And then obviously Warhammer, I'm going to froth really well. But Crispy just asked, what is the name of the series? He missed it. It's called Secret Level. It's on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend anyone checking it out. They are short little episodes, and that might win a few people over because you don't have to commit too much time. And my only hope, boys, is that in the future, if they see how well it does in terms of views, that they'll make something a little bit longer, because that D&D episode that I watched, I could watch another fucking 5 or 10 episodes of those characters and get to know them. So, absolute ripper. Punny says Optus has struck again. Hopefully I'm back online now and you can hear me nice and easily. But yeah, I can't wait to see more of it. And anyone else that is completely unaware, definitely get involved in that. Punny says, has anyone watched, before we move on, Halo? Anyone here want to comment on that?
Yep.
Before we move on?
Yeah.
Hax?
They fucking ruined it in the second season. They fucking ruined it. They ruined it in the first one, but I think it was like the second episode, the Chief took his helmet off, and it just went from there. Like, I've never seen the Chief in the game take his helmet off, ever.
Yeah, true. What, you actually saw his head?
Yep. Oh yeah, he spends more time in the TV show with no helmet on than with the fucking helmet on.
So they almost don't have a right to do that. In a way, but that's how I feel about that.
To the point that it got that dive bombed in the second season, they had to cancel it.
Wow. Yeah, that sucks. Punny says he agrees, so we can move on from there. That's fucking brutal. We had a really good chat last episode about a game called Path of Exile, and my mate Healsy over in Western Australia woke up very early in the morning to play it once it finally got released. Hilsey, take us through Path of Exile. I've got a few questions, but I'll shut my mouth and let all the other boys have some questions first. But take us through your initial reactions to this amazing new game that costs only $42. What's your thoughts on Path of Exile 2?
Thanks, Frankie. Cheers, Haxer, as well, for putting up a little bit of my gameplay footage. I've selectively chosen only a couple of videos to share with you where I actually do good, which is going to give you a false impression of the game, because there is plenty of dying that is associated with Path of Exile 2. She's a brutal game that is a little bit unforgiving at points. There's an element of sort of Elden Ringy, Dark Souls to it that sort of, if you haven't figured it out, you can get punished pretty quickly, and you'll figure out that you're dying a lot. But once you work past that and you figure out what your build's going to be like and the way that you're going to go about your gameplay, it's actually incredibly rewarding. And you're watching a bit of that footage now as I absolutely smoke this. I think this is the boss from, what is this one? I think this is Act 2 of
This was boss 1.
Boss 1? Okay, cool. So yeah, Frankie, you alluded to the fact that I woke up at 3 a.m. I actually woke up at 2:30 a.m. on I think it was a Saturday morning or whenever it was, when the game was coming out and it was being released, knowing full well as an avid lover of World of Warcraft, knowing full well that any game launch that's associated with any kind of online game where millions of people around the world all try to jump on servers, that there's going to be a shit ton of technical issues, and this was no different. I logged in, I was able to there was no queue, then I logged in and then I got booted, then I logged in again and then there was a queue. I think it was 22,000 in the queue. This is at sort of like just before 3 a.m. Then at 3 a.m. They put out a Twitter that said, oh, we've got issues with too many people logging in, or something along those lines. We're taking everyone off the queue. So if you were there at 2 a.m. trying to get in to get a start, everyone got wiped back to zero. And then it wasn't until about 4 a.m. that they started opening up servers. Jumped in at that point, was able to play for probably about 7.5 minutes, which meant I got to kill about 6 mobs and choose my character. And then that was all over. It reset. They were still having issues. They found that there were issues with, like, from a technical perspective of so many people jumping in. So then it was like another wait, and I think it was about 6 a.m. I finally got in, played a fair bit of it, was entertaining the idea of playing a witch, but I decided just to give the warrior a go. Coming from World of Warcraft, where I was tank and shield, obviously, that's where my avatar comes from, tank and heals. So I really wanted to be able to lean more into that, and I'm really glad that I did. It's a really rewarding class. Melee is inherently difficult compared to everyone else. This is the second boss this is Act 2, and this is on the cruelty mode. So how it's set up at the moment is it's in early access, Path of Exile 2. You're able to play only, I think you're able to choose 6 characters at the moment. There'll be 12 characters on full release. You can't play all of the acts. You play Act 1 through to 3, and then once you've completed that, you then repeat Act 1 through to 3 on Cruelty. This is Act 2 that you're currently watching the footage right now of on Cruelty mode. So this is the harder mode. I think I'm level 40, 50 odd at this point in time. I'm a very casual gamer. I was still finishing up work when it was coming out, but I have sunk a lot of hours into it. It's been my game of choice. So while I'm playing this, like, at this point in time, like, I feel like I'm getting ahead. But any time I jump online and look at any YouTube video, I'm like, fuck, like, people are already in the end game and playing the end game content. I'm nowhere near that at the moment. I'm currently sort of halfway through Act 3 on Cruelty. Haven't even touched end game yet, and I've been playing it pretty solidly in my spare hours dad mode over the last couple of weeks, and really enjoying it. So it's a Diablo style game. Most people are familiar with Diablo, except it's on a little bit more crack. There's a lot more complexity to your build design. There's a lot more complexity to the way that you sort of play the game as well. You're watching me dodge roll at the moment. I had to Google how to fucking, like, get past this mechanic where the boss would fire out this triangular prism thing, and the way that I was able to navigate that was like a dodge roll. Like, so I'm doing no damage to the boss at that point in time and dodge rolling in a triangle to be able to get past, otherwise it was just one-shotting me. It's really cool. Like, fuck, man, I'm absolutely loving it. You get that dopamine hit of, like, the unique items that drop every now and then, which are incredible. My luck has been the fact that every unique item that's dropped, I've just simply sent through to Pineapple Love, who's playing a witch character, because they're all witch items. I haven't got that lucky, but still, when you hear that like ting sound and you see the orange on the screen, it's like, yes, it's such a good feeling. Being able to figure out how to actually take on these take on the content and be successful has been really rewarding in itself. I haven't really watched YouTube guides or anything like that. You'll see my build is probably nothing like what's meta or anything like that. I'm running around setting up totems to be able to heal myself. I'm doing a leap that actually has a heal associated with it. And then I've got this big hit where you'll see that's like sort of taking chunks off the boss's life. It's not doing it at the moment because he's about to go into his second phase. When I did this in the first time, you'll see in a moment he's about to take us down through to another level. When I did this the first time, I probably grinded on this for about 2 hours. It's kind of the Elden Ring vibe where, shit, do I go and do something else to try and get myself stronger? Or do I just keep on grinding, figure it out and get over it? And it's a dance between the two. But once you figure it out and your character's actually smoking, it's pretty exciting to be able to chunk through the boss's life like the way that I'm doing it at the moment.
I watched your video, the second one, and you finally, like, you just nailed this one attack. I think it was lightning or something, I can't remember. But all of a sudden, the boss's health went from like 3/4 full to 1/4 full. I was like, oh fuck! And it all happened in about 2 seconds. I was like, oh shit, this is. I want to play this. But I've also watched a lot online, and Shady will agree with me. I love watching it as One Gold, and he is absolutely fucking frothing this game at the moment. And it's not just him; it's right across the board. Channels that aren't usually game invested, including a rugby league fucking podcast, Bloke in a Bar, he's playing Path of Exile too. Like, everyone's having a fucking crack at this game, and it's looking like an absolute beast for 2025. But one of the biggest things that keeps popping up in As One Gold's playthroughs and other playthroughs that I've been watching, because I want to play this myself, is that dodge roll mechanic that you were talking about, Healsy. A lot of the stuff that keeps coming back is the dodge roll, and perfecting the dodge roll absolutely crucial to surviving. You said before, you're not worrying about the meta, or you're not jumping online and cheating the meta, you're just doing your own organic playthrough. Are you hitting the dodge roll button a lot, or do you feel like it's something that's not that important? What are your thoughts?
I'm hitting the dodge roll a fair bit because I'm melee. So when I know that the boss mechanic is, and this goes back to anyone that's playing sort of a Souls, Elden Ring style game, that you know that something's, how fucking mean is this? The NPC that's with you right now just chops the head off the boss that we've just killed. That's fucking awesome. So you know that you have to dodge at different points once you sort of learn the boss's mechanics, and that is incredibly helpful. When Dodgy was playing it, Dodgy was talking about the fact that if I can figure this out, it's like once I know when to dodge, that can be a real cheesy way of being able to get past a lot of the things. Then the other layer that comes in that is you just can't dodge all the time. You're actually going to need to build up your resistances, and just not building yourself into a glass cannon sort of style character is going to be really important. I feel like... Yeah, man.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to ask, when you dodge roll, do you use stamina or anything like that? Is that sort of a drain on you doing that dodge roll?
So you can just keep on dodging as much as you want. So you can just keep on rolling around. So one of the ways that you can overcome some like mechanics is if you're able to put like a dot on the enemy and you're dodging and getting out of their offensive attacks, then you can actually slowly grind down the enemies that way as well.
Yeah, I was just watching that footage there and just seeing that. I mean, you were clearly in a really good rhythm there, I think. I don't know how many times you probably attempted this fight, but looked really, really smooth. Like you've sort of got a handle on, exactly what you're doing there.
Because of the way that it's built up in the early access for Path of Exile 2, I'd actually played these bosses in the first part, and then you come back through and have to do these bosses again in Act 1, 2 and 3, but on hard mode, so to speak. So I've actually been... So the learning that I've taken from the 2 hours of grinding, hitting your face against the wall, against these bosses, you take into the second version of the cruelty mode. And I found that actually that was really cool. And I've actually been smoking through cruelty really quite easily because you've sort of learnt the mechanics at that point in time. So right now, like if you don't know to roll in a triangle against this boss fucks you really, really badly, and you're just constantly getting. And there were times where I was like shouting at the screen, going, "How is this happening? Like I don't even understand. What am I meant to do?" And then you figure out, okay, if I just roll in a triangle, this will, because it predicts where your next move is, but the triangle then counters that.
Yeah, and I think that's probably fair for a lot of games too. Like I've just finished my second playthrough on Silent Hill, and first time through, I died on the last boss fight about 6 times. This time through, straight through. So I think you do learn quite a bit from that first. And how much harder is it, you know, from your first sort of, what was it, phases, 1, 2 and 3?
So you play Act 1, 2 and 3, and because Act 4, 5 and 6 isn't finished, and because the game is in early access, once it's full release, you'll be able to play Act 4, 5 and 6 and then enter the end game, but they're not available at the moment, so you go back through and play Act 1, 2 and 3 again on cruelty mode, which is just the hard level.
And so once you've played on hard level, then can you get to the in-game stuff? Is that kind of how it works?
That is how it works, yeah. So I'm not there at the moment. I'm certainly not I'm a casual gamer, but I've still sunk a fuck ton of hours into this game, and I'm still not there at the moment, so...
I mean, look, I obviously have played either 1 or 2, but how does this sort of compare or upgrade to Path of Exile 1?
There's a lot of similarities. The similarities, I suppose, would be around the fact that Path of Exile 1 differentiated itself from Diablo by being more complicated, by being harder, by not being casual gamer friendly, and there's certainly elements of that are still in Path of Exile 2. But what they've then done is it's almost like it's the Elden Ring evolution that's associated with the Dark Souls genre. They've still made it hard, but they've brought mechanics in that are able to be more accessible for a broader gamer base, and I know that I've certainly enjoyed that aspect too. That's why most of us sort of really enjoyed Elden Ring and played Elden Ring because it was something you could actually get involved with and not feel as though you're never going to succeed. Like there's times. Don't get me wrong, there's times with this game where 2-3 hours in and you're still grinding on the same boss and you haven't quite figured it out yet and you're not sure what to do. That it's sort of like, what the fuck am I doing here? But then when you finally take that boss down, and that dopamine reward is huge. That you've like, okay, I've clocked that and I've unlocked it, and it's incredibly rewarding.
You're all about that gaming crack, eh? You love that dopamine.
Yeah, I love crack for sure, but gaming crack. I'm from Mandra, not meth Mandra.
Well, it's better than Mike and Frankie's crack.
Hey.
Healsy, I know you said you haven't been watching too much YouTube on it, but I've seen a bit of commentary. I'm an avid Asmund watcher, like Frankie, and a lot of people sort of having a whinge about, this is unbalanced, this is that, and I heard the take that people are just so used to PoE 1 and are now coming into a completely different system that they just haven't learned yet. What's your take on that? Is that sort of true? Or
I've got a couple of mates who are playing. One of my mates, Pineapple, he's playing a Witcher, and another one of my mates, Ahoy, he's playing a Sorceress. And Pineapple's found it quite difficult with the necro sort of style where you're summoning minions and having to manage all that has been challenging. Whereas I speak to Ahoy and he's like, oh yeah, I just roll and just cast lightning spells and I just one-shot everything. So it's kind of like this sorcerer. Apparently the Sorceress is a beast. So if you're thinking of like taking up the game and need a character that's probably gonna be able to get shit done, the Sorceress, by all accounts, is an incredibly powerful class that will allow you to OP stuff really well. So I think there's an element of your class choice that influences how successful you're going to be, or no, it's going to influence how difficult you're going to come to success from that aspect.
yeah, very similar to Elden Ring then.
Yep, big
Magic
time.
wins all day.
Yeah, for sure.
Feels like it. I can't wait to have a crack. But I'm hesitant with these things that I'm hearing because it feels like if I don't pick the right class, I'm just going to chuck a temper tantrum. But that's a Frankie problem, not a fucking PoE2 problem. And the only thing that I'll finish on, Healsy, is that there are a lot of suggestions, a lot of really strong suggestions that this is the best that Path of Exile has ever been. And so we talked about this last episode. Such a small developing community, like it's 2 guys or 1 guy or something like that. What did you say?
Well, I think it was like a couple of guys from New Zealand, but they're much bigger than that now.
Yeah, but like, to build that and to do what they're doing is absolutely huge. So it sounds like it's the best that it's ever been. But Haxy, it is a special time of the night. It's a special Christmas time of the night. It's Frankie's Mailbag.
Do we have to sing this bit, or?
Frankie's Mailbag. And that fucking cunt ruined it. Alright, so Crispy has sent in a little 1 minute 10 mailbag, and I've got one from the TRL boys. But boys, here it is. If you can't hear it, make sure you tell me. I'm going to turn the volume right up on the phone. This is from Crispy.
Hello, Lynx. Thought I'd do a little voice note for you or a mailbag, especially around ARMA after Frank put it in the GC network. So just wanted to say that, really happy and pleased that it's come to PlayStation. It's nice to see some familiar faces joining. So, I just wanted to basically say, obviously, I've played a little bit myself. It's a big, steep learning curve for a lot of players. I'm seeing a lot of guys that are jumping on and not really knowing what to do. So thought I would offer myself to help some players, particularly from the Ladsletloose scene. Back in my early days of Ladsletloose, there was a lot of players that showed me the ropes, so it'd be nice to do the same for them. So I was listening to this and a trying on for the first time when they're not sure what to do. Feel free to send me a message, and I'm more than happy to get some games going with you and hopefully show you the ropes. I'm definitely not an expert. There's a lot to this game. I'm still learning a lot as well, but hopefully I'm going just to give you a little bit of a solid foundation and get you started. So, cheers, boys. Take care.
All right, we're going to come back to that because Crispy's already alluded to our next segment, so that's fine. And Axa just sent me a message saying you should have sent it to me, but it's more authentic when I play it myself. But that's a very nice offer from Crispy. But we're going to come back to ARMA, and there's also another little message that I've got from the TRL boys. A bloke named Slick Nuts contacted me through the week, and he said, "Hey mate, I'd love to quickly talk about what we've got going on in terms of TRL." And he basically, well, I'm just going to read it word for word, boys. He says, "Hey bro, long time listener, first time caller. My name is Slick Nuts from the clan TRL, and I've been playing Ladsletloose since September." That's not too long compared to us, boys, but he's very passionate about it. He says, "For the last 2 months, I've been enjoying yours and Healsy's anecdotes and antics on the Ladsletloose podcast." That's very nice. And he's halfway through episode 12 at the moment, so he's still listening to old Crispy, which is nice as well. Crispy just had a little chat there as well. And he says, "I've been listening to you lads on the regular lately. I want to say I really appreciate what you guys have been doing for the Oceanic region. Thank you very much, mate. And recently some of us lads have been playing some real shit, having some real shit experiences," this is his words, not mine, "on the Ladsletloose Facebook groups." Well, we can all relate to that. And he says, "In spite of that, inspired by the culling of tall poppy syndrome in Australia and New Zealand, we decided to create our own Facebook group to cultivate a safe, unbiased and ethical hub for all clan members and people seeking clandom, specifically for the Oceanic region. So please get behind the page so you don't have to deal with irrelevant overseas bullshit and this is his words, overseas bullshit, and help create a better Ladsletloose community. Thanks." And then he sent me a little screenshot of the page. Look, there's a ton of places you can go to if you want to learn about Hell Let Loose in terms of Facebook. It's not the best place. I'd recommend getting to Discord, but if you're a Facebook user and this is where you're seeing the Lads Let Loose podcast, we've got our own GC Discord which you can join in on the link, and you can also join that TRL Facebook group, or you can be in the one that you're already in right now, which is where you've come from, the Lads Let Loose, or the TFMC, or the fucking whatever it's called, Hell Let Loose Australia and New Zealand thing. So you can do that. Facebook's a fucking bit of a dead bloody piece of shit these days. Healsy, do you even use Facebook these days?
What's a Facebook?
Yeah, I know. I feel you. But either way, if you are a Facebook user, you can join in there and join the TRL boys. But that's it. A great shout out from Crispy, which brings us to almost our second last podcast run sheet. I'm bringing it up now. Our second last segment for the night. It's our game of the week, boys, and it's a game that has absolutely taken a hold of the GC Discord. It's taken a hold of all of our clans. We've all been talking about it. We've got some beautiful footage coming up here from Crispy's channel, which he orchestrated a beautiful little chat. But I'm going to throw it to Skin Shady, who has been doing God's work in terms of our Lads Let Loose channel. Mate, ARMA is finally on PS5. I've got it now on PC, and a lot of the other boys do, but a couple of the other boys have been playing it on PS5. Take us through the game, your initial thoughts, and then everyone else can weigh in as well. Basically, it's going to come down to Healsy and I, who haven't played it anywhere near enough, but everyone else has. So, Shady, what's the thoughts?
Yeah, ARMA. So, I'll just go over it in terms of basics for anyone that hasn't played it, but it's got a lot of similarities to Hell Let Loose in the sense that to win a game, you do have to think a bit more than just one step ahead, and just think, you're, say, St. Marie Dumont times 10 in terms of size. So you're still running 64 versus 64 as a max, so not too many more players, but you're sort of having to spread out and work together a lot more to get the job done. There's not just one single point that you're pushing towards. And I'd almost describe it, and it has been described a lot in the past, as a bit of a sandbox. So Bohemia Interactive have basically made this platform where developers and modders come in and sort of create an endless number of different game modes, and they'll mod in like a leopard tank, or something that's not part of the base game. So although PS doesn't have access to mods yet, that should come, and that'll be pretty epic. But yeah, in terms of the uptake, it's pretty nuts from the OCE point of view. I think there's 3 servers up now, around 100 players or more, and they're just full all day. Don't even cool down at night. There's some absolute grinders on there. But if you've been thinking about it, do it, and don't base it on what your mates have said about it. Like if they've said, it's really cool, you can go out and snipe and take real long shots. That's just one thing you can do. Like, okay, you're a sniper team, but if you like tanks, for example, you've got your armored vehicles. If you like flying, there's a lot of that involved. So it's really quite a personalized experience, I'd say. So you can't really judge it until you've tried it, but I've been having some pretty funny matches with all the new players coming in. I sort of liken it to like a public game, just on like a random Hell Let Loose server, where you sort of see all the blueberries up attacking a defensive point that you've already lost, things like that. So once the player base starts to sort of learn how the actual game mode works and strategies to win, you'll start to see more more hectic footage come through on the old TikTok and on the YouTube, and actually see some tight matches come through. But yeah, what do you reckon, AK? I've seen you jump in a few times this one.
I'm loving it. It's definitely not a Hell Let Loose killer or replacer. Hell Let Loose definitely still has that really good, I guess, first person shooter vibe. But it's just something different. It's something fresh. The realism side of it's really good as well. I've been thoroughly enjoying that. Even just the stupid stuff like Skin was trying to land a helicopter the other day and was getting shot at by friendlies, so I ended up doming a friendly to stop him shooting Skin out of the sky.
Yeah, thanks for that.
This allows your team
to
Alright, you know?
objectives simultaneously and potentially gain the upper hand over your enemies.
Nice.
I'll take myself off mute there. Yeah, look, I mean, Shady's kind of said it all. I think what we're watching now, guys, is footage of I believe it's the tutorial, and I actually took advice from Crispy here when I was watching Crispy's video, and he said play the tutorial, and that's probably the number one thing I can recommend, because you need that base level of understanding of what you're doing. So as we were sort of talking pre-potty, I probably spent my first night playing the game actually just playing the tutorial and learning how to do your navigation and things like that. So probably a couple of tips from somebody who's, I mean, I've played, a few games now. I want to get balls deep into it over the Christmas, New Year's period. But a couple of tips I would say is learn how to navigate. So learn how to use your compass, learn how to use your map, understand landmarks and that kind of thing, so you know where you are. Watch where you spawn as well. So don't spawn in what seems to be a close area to your objective. Try and find transport, because running to places is just stupid. It takes a lot of time. And probably the other thing as well is, and Shady will probably laugh at this one, but save your kit. So as soon as you've loaded up your kit, save it, because no doubt you will go into battle, you'll die, you'll come back, and you've got to go and reload your kit. So those are probably my tips. I'm very much a newbie. I would love to be flying, but at this point in time, my flying skills are pretty shit. But I actually think that this game has got a lot of potential, and as AK says, I don't think it's a replacement for Hell Let Loose. I think both games are fundamentally different, but yeah, it's hugely enjoyable, and I'm sort of looking forward to sort of getting more into it over the coming months.
I think the biggest thing that we need to take away from this, Healsy, as you and I weigh in with very little experience, is that exactly as what the boys have just said. It's not a Hell Let Loose killer. As much as we had a little bit of a laugh with our thumbnails through the week, it's just a different game. And Crispy was really clear in that the biggest enjoyable moments in this game compared to Hell Let Loose comes from PvE. Rather than PvP. So you can jump on Hell Let Loose and do a 90-minute battle of warfare and have a really good time, or you can jump on this and do an almost 4 or 5 or 6 hour campaign where you jump in and you jump back out and then you jump back in again, and you slowly level your character up. Does that sound like something that you'd be interested in having a crack at, Healsy?
I've only got enough room in my life for Hell Let Loose, so it won't be something that I'll be gaming with. But when I've looked at some of the footage of, just as I kind of watch McSweeney run around and make some runs for the Brisbane Heat at the moment, by the way, what I've loved, there's a guy in our clan, Alpha Combi Lover, and he's shared a couple of little videos of him flying around in a helicopter and being an absolute fucking stud. And that's the aspect that is like, ooh, that's tickled my fancy, where I'm like, man, being a chopper pilot in this game and getting shit done where, like, you can, it's like the enabler role where you're able to position people so that they can be successful and and like win a battle, that chopper pilot seems to be incredibly important. So if I was to give it a scratch, I think I'd want to learn the pilot skills of flying a helicopter. Have you seen any of those videos? Some of those ones where like they fly in, they come in on a really steep angle, they land on the top of like buildings. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I had one a few matches ago. Combi is a wicked pilot as well. I've been in a plane with helicopter with him twice. He's a little maverick. Cannot drive a car to save himself, but he can fly a helicopter. Probably goes with doesn't actually have his driver's license in real life, so it makes sense that he can't really drive a car. But yeah, I was in one where just randomly a helicopter just pulled into a friendly base, and we were attacking one of the coastal bases, and he just basically said over proxy chat, like, get in. So we all jumped in the helicopter. He took us in at night, dropped us on top of the 2-story building at Coastal Chotane, and we jumped out, and I was like, this is one of the coolest moments I've had in a game in a long time. Just that hot drop in a hot zone, I guess, and then he flew out under fire, and I died to a grenade about 30 seconds later. So went well.
Beautiful.
And I think that complexity, just on that as well, that complexity. So if his chopper had gone hit, right, going back to base and then having to repair that chopper, it's not just a case of, like you're an engineer in Hell Let Loose and you just go and, put your blowtorch on the fucking thing. Like, there's a lot more involved. You've got to refuel it. You've got to, you've got to repair it. What else do you need to do to it, Skinny?
Oh, see, yeah, man. Like, you've got to, if you take shots, you got to check 5 different points on it to make sure that those different points are repaired. You got to load up the guns if you've got guns on the side of it. Like, it's just super realistic. I think that's the best way to describe that. And like I said, just do it. If you're on the fence, just do it, and you'll find a part of it that you're like Healsy said. He's keen to be a stud behind the stick, or if you want to snipe, if you're good at driving, if you're good at setting up a roadblock and ambushing, there's so many ways to attack it. But actually on the topic of ARMA, we've set up there's actually 2 that I know of now. There's a TFMC ARMA server up now, 128 players, and Nutty from the 11th and the Shaggers boys have also set up a wee one that they run some stuff in there. So get in contact with him if you want to learn anything as well, or jump on the TFNC server. It's new. Would love feedback on how it goes. Definitely, bugs and everything. Just let us know. I'll try and fix it. And have fun.
Yeah, it sounds great. I'd definitely recommend anyone who is interested in doing a little bit of ARMA on console or on PC to join the GC Discord. The link will be in the description on the YouTube. It's not there on the Twitch, but any of our YouTube videos as well has the link. You can check out Plucky Squire. You can check out any of the stuff that we've been putting up there, Silent Hill 2, and the ARMA videos as well. So jump on there, grab a link to our Discord. You can jump in with the boys at any time by doing that. But that is ARMA. It's definitely been taking control. We're going to wrap up now. Before we throw to this footage that you can see here that Haxy's put up, I'm going to talk about Ballionaire in a second, which is a good link to Balatro. And I've been told you have to pronounce it Balatro. It's not Balatro. Balatro. Before I talk about that, boys, I've got some interesting news for you. Anyone that's a big fan of Obsidian games or BioWare, we know that they created a whole bunch of fantastic series, including Fallout. They are about to become non-Xbox exclusive. So about 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, those two companies got taken over by Microsoft. Or taken over isn't necessarily the right word. but they got told that any games that they create are going to be exclusive to Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. But that is no longer the case, and we saw with the Game Awards from 2024 over in LA, the Outer Worlds 2 is coming out in 2025, and it's no longer going to be Microsoft exclusive or Xbox exclusive. It's going to come out on PlayStation. So, boys, any reactions to that? We'll do a quick roundtable because we've got to start wrapping up. We are 2 hours and 15 minutes into our Christmas special. We hope you have a fantastic holiday season. AK, any opinions on Obsidian and BioWare becoming no longer exclusive to Xbox? They are going to be back on PlayStation. Is this good news or is it bad news?
Yeah, always good news, mate. Hopefully they all jump across and come to PlayStation. Hopefully we get them all. Xbox just dissolves, but what about you, Skin?
Yeah, bro. Free trade, open market, it always helps at the end of the day. It sucks when companies want to be greedy about who can use what. So, yeah, I'm all for everything being open. Thoughts, Nolan?
Fuck, spoken like a true capitalist dubious there, Skinny. Yeah, absolutely. 5-0 from me. It's got to happen, right? I get really upset when PC gets early releases on games because you've got this whole community that's already sort of played, gone through that whole sugar rush of a game. And same with Xbox. I think everything should be cross-platform and we should all get it at the same time. So, yeah, definitely a good move.
Nice. Healsy?
Devil's advocate for a moment and briefly, I'd worry about the fact that if Xbox isn't in the scene and isn't able to compete against PlayStation, PlayStation just having a monopoly within the market and what that would mean for consumers in regards to price gouging, and if you've only got one choice of where you can go, the long-term effects of that might be kind of shit. But at the same time, as a gamer, it's like I don't want to have to buy 2 consoles to be able to play games that are exclusively on Xbox. So it's win-win short term. It might be loss and 05 long term. What about you, Hax?
Buy a PC. The master race.
Yeah. I'm with you too. I've got the PC, but I definitely feel where Healsy's coming from. It's a scary proposition in terms of PS5, but I think it was always on the cards. They were always going to win this battle. Microsoft gave up about 2 or 3 years ago, and BioWare and Obsidian just made the wrong choice in terms of where they were going to go. But it's going to happen sooner or later, and now it looks like it is actually going to happen. So we'll see how that pans out. But a cheeky recommendation: if you are looking for something to do over the Christmas break and you enjoyed playing Ballatro, which I've been told is the way that I need to pronounce it now, not Ballatro, and you enjoyed that, I've got a new game for you, and I'm playing it here now. On the podcast. It's called Ballionaire, not Billionaire, Ballionaire, and it only costs about $10. And I've been playing it all week. It is basically a video game version of Plinko, which is a Southeast Asian or maybe South Central Asian game. It's a little bit like the poker machines over there, but there is no gambling involved. It's all just normal in-game currency, and like Ballatro, it is a roguelike, so every game is different and you never know what you're going to get, and you basically drop your little coin and you can place these little things here that you can see here that I'm doing here in the video, and you place them somewhere on the little pyramid, and the coin drops down and it hits as many things as it does, and then when it gets to the bottom, another coin drops, and as long as you make enough points every time that it drops down, which you're about to see here, you get to carry on and drop another coin down. So that's your recommendation, boys. I don't think you've got anything to say to that because you've probably got no idea what's going on. You have to really play it to understand it. But any reactions there, Healsy?
More ball marks.
It looks pretty, and definitely I feel really self-conscious now saying Ballatro. But yeah, it's got that kind of vibe. where you've sort of you're taking an old school
Once per
mechanic
drop,
that
the
people
ball
are really
exits the
familiar
screen
with,
while
and
carrying
then
the
adding
carryable
and
teleporter back
gamifying
to
it in
its spawn
a
point. When a
more
ball is
accessible
chopped,
way,
both halves
which
keep
probably
any
doesn't
carryable.
highlight the gambling
Not chopping
aspect
balls
as
right
much,
now, I don't
which
think.
can only be a good thing for young gamers.
Okay, it hit the ball
Yeah,
mark.
Nolan.
It got eaten by that thing, so that's good. We need to
Is it
spawn more
Ballatro or
balls, don't we? 'Cause how am I going to get
Balletro?
to that thing at this
What is
rate?
it?
Well, this is not
Okay.
Ballatro. This is another one. This is
We have to remove
Plinko,
something.
Ballionaire,
Oh.
but Ballatro is the
Thinking
the one that
mine
we were
part
talking
the
about
same
last
way.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm
Well,
going to
that's
drop
confusing.
the teleporter
Yeah,
there.
look, I've got no idea what's going on in this little bit here, mate. So I think
I've
you're
not
right. You
actually
kind of
skipped
just got to
anything
play
yet,
it,
but
don't you?
that's okay.
What's yours
I
on
kind of want
Skip?
to fill out the board first, and then we'll start
No, I
skipping
love a
hardcore,
cooked indie game.
right?
So
We're going to pass on all that.
It looks interesting. I
No.
do like when a lot
Cash
of thought is put
register.
in. Like I see all these cards you're
On
sort of
bomb,
scrolling
for each
through here.
distinct
Like
carryable
someone's
this
had
ball
to
is
go to
carrying.
the effort
Spawn
of
one
thinking,
coin ball.
is this balanced as
That
part
is
of
quite
this?
good,
So
actually.
yeah, I mean, I'd always give it.
I think
give it
I
my
might
ear.
remove the bumper
Thoughts
here.
from
I'll put the
AK?
cash register there.
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Okay.
No comprehension. I don't even know what the word is. Yeah,
Take a
I don't
pass,
think that'll be a
roll it.
meeting.
More
Haxy.
ball marks.
I just tuned
Gobble
off
the
because
ball.
this is just.
That's okay, though.
Be surprised. See, you boys say that,
Yeah, it
you'd
might
be
be hard to
surprised.
hit
I
that.
almost missed the start
you
of the
had no
podcast
carryable
tonight
at
because
that
I was
point.
playing it
Three's
and
not
I fucking
great
hated it
for
the
what
first
we're
couple of
doing, so we
times.
might wanna
Once you
consider
understand
removing
where you're placing all these little tiny
Bonfire
things and you
coin
start
ball,
earning
still
those
on it.
points, it is fucking like crack. And like heroin, you can't stop
definitely
fucking having a
getting
go.
close to
So,
skipping time.
anyone that is a little bit bored over the Christmas break that wants
You
to have a go
remove
at something
time
new,
cancel
if you'd
after-
like
after
Ballatro,
reach
which we have to
each
say it
time
that
gain
way
3
now,
standard
I feel
per
disgusting
round.
when I say it. Check out
Like that.
Ballionaire. It is only on Steam at the moment. It's not on
I will
PS5,
remove
but it's only $10.
three
So
and
give
just
that a little bit of a
drop
crack. But that is it
carryable in
for the
there.
evening. We've had a fantastic one tonight.
There
We
you
had
go.
a little bit of a lads let loose categories.
I think that's
I think it was a
pretty
victory for.
good.
We'll give it to.
There you go. Ball
Give it
marks.
to
There you go. There we
MC because
go.
I can't remember who
Yeah.
actually won. But it was a fantastic chat tonight, boys. We had a great chat with
Probably- I'm
Path of
thinking that's
Exile
not
2,
really
plus everything else. A
work.
good catch up in terms of Hell Let
Maybe
Loose
it's
and
not good enough.
all of the other things. But the most important part that I need to communicate to all of you is that we hope
Watch
you
me never
have
get around
a
to
wonderful
skipping
holiday
this
season,
You
whether
wait to
it's
see that.
celebrating Christmas or however else you
All
like
those
to do
carryables,
things
there you go.
at this time of year. We hope you have a
Great
wonderful
card.
time. We're going to see you again in the new year,
still quite
in
well
2 weeks
ahead,
from
though.
now. Probably won't be a Sunday, it'll probably
Please,
be a
use both
Friday,
cards. Use one charge
but
to spin the ball.
that doesn't
No
matter
charges
because
equals
in between now and then, hopefully you are just going to have a fantastic time with you, with your loved ones, with us, and with everyone else. I hope you have a fantastic time, and same goes to the boys. Thank you very much for being with me here tonight. I feel very privileged to share this space with you. So Healsy, Narlan, Shady, AK, Hax, and even Crispy, who's watching on in the background, and all of you that are listening as well, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitch. Have a fantastic holidays. Boys, thank you very much for being the wonderful people that you are. And that is it.
Okay, so now
Adieu.
maybe the
Farewell.
time to start
Hax,
skipping
take us out.
when I can. All
No,
spawners
honey,
invert the
Mommy's
gravity
gotta save
balls
her
they
throat.
spawn.
I have to work tonight.
The ball